Okay, what's up, everybody?
Greetings.
Yeah.
Hey everyone.
So, Francisco, Charles, Andrew here, Doug by proxy. 10th episode of our Sports Goof show. We've got some really fun stuff in store for today, just because it is the 10th episode. We wanted to make it really special.
Plus, there was a lot going on this week, so...
So, we got NHL Breakaway 99 in the background for the Nintendo 64. One of the 20 best N64 games of all time. We'll probably be on the N64 Classic, along with WWF No Mercy. Is that right, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got lots of games on tap tonight. 2 NHL games, 12 NBA games, the DXL Frisco Bowl. What does DXL do? I don't know.
Ooh, I have to look that one up.
Yeah, you look that up, Andrew. It's between the San Diego State Aztecs and the Ohio, what are they, Bobcats?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right, so I've already gotten the weird college team names out of the way.
Did you do San Diego State?
The Aztecs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was paying more attention to what is DXL.
And they're playing at the Toyota Stadium, which is the home of the FC Dallas of the MLS.
And the FCS Championship. That's Division 1 AA, the division below major college football.
Okay. I did not know that at all, so some more trivia there.
And DXL is the big and tall clothing company.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense with all those football players.
That is true.
They probably have to shop there. Okay, so DXL, they're our non-sponsor of the week. No. They're the sponsor of the Frisco Bowl out in Frisco, Texas. 54 NCAA men's college basketball games, 41 NCAA women's basketball games, so plenty of weird college team names to go and find for Andrew. He's probably going to host that part of this section today.
Yep.
7 NBA G League games if you're into that. And 10 American Hockey League games if you're also into that. So guys, but first I wanted to start with a concept that I unexpectedly came up with. So last week, Nike and the NBA announced the release of the what they're calling the unearned uniforms, which are jerseys specifically for the 16 teams that qualified for the 2018 playoffs last season. That includes some really good ones. That even includes the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are one of the worst teams this season. But they get to wear that. The Heat have a glorious pink jersey that I can't wait to try and purchase someday. And so, running the Sports Goofs Twitter account, it was reported by Bleacher Report, and I put a reply saying that they should actually make a line, the unearned line for the. I originally said the 14 team or the 14 teams that didn't make the playoffs, and call it the unearned line, or call them the tank tops. And a lot of people really like that pun. So Andrew and Charles and we're like, okay, why don't we actually make them?
Just to clarify, when he says we means he.
Okay.
Because of the three of us, he's the only one with any semblance of graphic design experience.
I actually do have an AS in graphic design with just one of the 40 different degrees that I have from the 40 different schools that I've been to.
That is very much not an exaggeration. He has a lot of degrees from a lot of schools.
So, not to show off, okay, I've already kind of delayed this enough. We're already almost 5 minutes into this. So let's start this out. I'm actually gonna move away from the hockey game and We'll turn that off for now. So first one, let me actually get the. I'm texting this to Charles, who's 40,000 miles away.
And just to kind of preface this, Francisco, when I interrupted him, His idea was initially the 14 teams that didn't make it, but because of time constraints and just general stuff, he decided to whittle it down to the lowest 3 that he did jersey designs for.
Right. Yeah, just to make it more feasible to do. All right, so let's start this bad boy off with the first one.
Oh, and also Charles and I have not seen these.
Yeah, I already showed them to Doug, and I'm gonna give you his reactions first. So this is the first one. I think I just sent it to Charles. At least I hope I did, unless I took it off. But here we go. That's the first one, Andrew. All right, Charles, I'm sending to you right now. So I want to get the genuine reaction from you guys. There you go. Okay. So
Wait, who?
What?
Who's the sponsor?
Well, no, their sponsor is ShareCare. I don't know what it is.
Oh, so you didn't change that.
No, I left the sponsors as is because the sponsors need to feel shame for those teams as well. Okay, Charles, did you get it?
Yeah, I just got in, and I have to appreciate the fact that you gave me the Heimlich right when my call dropped for some reason. So if that was planned timing or serendipity, I think that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to make the fun assumption this is the Atlanta Hawks, just based off my bad eyesight. And forgive me, everybody, for coming in a little bit late here, but Francisco is basically going to be commissioned by the NBA or some knockoff league to make it because I'm cracking up over here from that decide the instructions. And you should have a scene where, if you can add a little bit, just have them toss away things that are valuable to prevent you from choking, such as star players like Al Horford and, Dennis Schroeder and everybody else, Jeff Teague, that has helped contribute to make you relevant. So I approve. I approve.
Here's something, since the NBA and Nike always do these, like, oh, we put this little design to signify the spirit of whatever, Okay, so number 28 I put because of the infamous 28 to 3.
Oh no, that's terrible.
So why not signify the 28 points that the Atlanta Falcons had during the Super Bowl against the Patriots and couldn't move up from that number as they choked away.
That is terrible.
A surefire win.
It's terrible.
The Hossa, it's Marion Hossa because of the fact that Atlanta has had 2 NHL franchises fail in their city, which is part of the reason why Atlanta is considered one of the worst sports town in North American pro sports. So Marion Hossa, one of the great players that was on that 2007 Southeast Division Championship team for the Atlanta Thrashers, that had lots of talent, and they wouldn't pay them, so they had to break up the team. So Marion Hossa, that's the player that I put there. I decided to have instructions for the Heimlich maneuver because it's Atlanta pro sports.
And kudos.
Except for the Atlanta FC, which just won the MLS championship. But
kudos for putting the Pac-Man logo where the person's head is.
I was like, man, what could I do that signifies Atlanta? Choking. But what's choking? Like, do I just do something about the Falcons? Oh, why not the Heimlich maneuver? So that when the players see that they're choking, they at least know what to do.
And I just appreciate that it kind of hits to both of the sports that they try to tell everybody is important there, basketball and football. Because you look into the angle, I think of it as the Atlanta Hawks angle, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe it could be the Falcons angle. And then now when you get the whole thing going to the 28-3, going into the sports aspect, the choking, I'm like, it's satire at its finest.
Okay, and so that's That's so now let me get you Doug's actual review for this. Okay. Just when the Hawks look like they take a step forward a couple of years back, they take 2 steps back. Trading away Doncic for Trae Young was absolutely ridiculous. Trae Young had a horrible end to his career at Oklahoma, and that inefficiency has carried over into his pro career so far. It's way too early to close the book on Trae, but he lost all steam he had built last year in college by the end of the season. Meanwhile, Doncic was widely talked about for years, a teenager with such a refined game playing in the league with grown men. It was a toss-up until the draft day as to who should be the first overall pick, DeAndre Ayton or Luka Doncic. The Hawks screwed themselves out of a potential superstar. So the Heimlich jersey is a perfect fit, and Hosa is a nice touch. I know you couldn't resist. All right. So that's the first one.
Oh boy.
I believe that one's the best one out of all of them, but it's just because
it's
so far out of it. Well, it's because they were the number 3 pick, and they traded away to the Dallas Mavericks because Doncic is now hitting it up for the Mavs. So now let me move on. Ah, crap, that's not what I wanted to do.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Crap. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna try and see if this thing can move on to the next one.
We have 5 people right now on
Okay, there it is. There's the next one. Okay, so so this one is the ref, as I call it, for the Sacramento Kings.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to explain this one for you guys. Okay, so the 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers was probably one of the most controversial series of all time.
I think there was just an SB Nation video on that, right?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of controversy behind this. So I'm actually sending this to Charles right now so I can get his reaction too, because he'll probably have some things to say about it. So I decided that because of this, I would let Kings fans know, relive that pain, because if they're gonna be tanking all this time. And it's perfect because Vlade Divac is their GM, so he gets to relive the pain as well. So it's called The Ref. It's based on the referee uniforms during that series. It's the same colors. It's the Sacramento Kings SAC logo or script in place of the NBA logo. It's Delaney, which was one of the refs in that infamous Game 6 where it seemed like they were just handing the Lakers free throws, and that's it. So what do you guys think?
I mean,
I like it.
I like it too. I mean, I think I'd appreciate it more if I was more of an NBA fan, but it is still funny now that I know the backstory to it a bit.
I mean, I like it just because the Sacramento Kings have just been rotting in the pits of hell for such a long time. And you have mentioned it earlier from Doug by proxy of, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I think that's a perfect way to describe them. And that's the thing when you find a lot about Kings fans or Kings management. They're always focusing too much on the glory days. And you're talking about a franchise that has had every step of the way of an opportunity to at least be in contention in the playoffs, at least get through the playoffs, but bad management, signing old players I don't know if Vlad, it's to be determined if he's even going to take them to where they got to go, but, is that the vision that you want for a city and an organization that has just been muck in mediocrity for such a long time? And it's simple. I like the ref design. It's a big, punch in the gut for them. And for a minute, I thought it was the Orlando Magic because it looked like they're...
That's what I thought.
They're pinstripes.
And then I saw the SAC. I'm like, oh, yeah. I know where we're going with this. So, I got a good chuckle out of it because ironically, the Kings are in contention this year to at least make the playoffs, and a lot of people are shocked. So maybe this is the kick in the butt that they needed.
All right.
Bye, Francisco.
All right, so this is Doug's review. That's quite a painful reminder for the Kings, as it's anyone's guess as to when they will ever make it that far again. It's one thing to lose through your own shortcomings. It's another to lose due to the powers you cannot control. A shameful moment for the league. A painful reminder for both the Kings and the NBA. So that's the Sacramento Kings, who had the number 2 pick. And finally, we're gonna end with, maybe this one is the best one. Maybe it really is the best one.
Drum roll.
There it is, the Greta. It's for the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, you took my suggestion.
I told you.
Thank you.
So yeah, Andrew did have some hand in this design. So let me actually send this to good old Charles here.
Thank you so much. I knew it would come out.
He's
well.
really happy with this one. So there we go. All right, Charles. I resent it to Doug. Whoops. Yeah, completely planned. Andrew, go ahead. Say what you think.
It makes no sense unless you know the backstory to it.
Go ahead and give it to him.
This was for was this the Suns, right?
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns.
This woman named Greta Rogers, just absolutely eviscerated.
I'm sorry to laugh in between. Go ahead.
Just absolutely eviscerated the owner of the Suns, I think it was the mayor of Glendale? Is that where they are?
Phoenix.
The mayor of Phoenix. She just eviscerated them. I can't remember what she said exactly, but...
She said, there was one line that she said, the owner of the Suns is so tight that he squeaks when he walks.
In reference to the fact that he's so tight on money, a real penny pincher, that... her basic point, the Suns are trying to get a brand new stadium, or at least a renovation to it, arena, whatever you want to call it. And her point is, the owner has put zero effort into making the Suns even a semblance of a contending team. He's just been making as much of a profit as possible by cutting costs as much as possible and just getting all of the profit. Her point is, why should we fund this renovation if you're just going to keep treating us like crap and holding the city hostage, basically, because per usual the owner said, if you don't give us a renovation, we're going to leave. So her point is, basically, leave. You're doing nothing for us, and just get out of here. Of course, after that, he said that they're not leaving, so obviously she had a bit of an impact, but thank you for taking my suggestion. I knew it would just be perfect for this.
Go ahead, Charles.
I feel like this woman also should speak to your sensibility, Francisco, as a Miami Marlins fan, to be, how many times somebody want to tell an owner, stop being so tight budgeted, make excuses, and have the city or the state do things for you, or the county do things for you, and actually show that you want to be here. I love the design. Not only does it make it, her herself looks like Mr. Rogers' sister, but, now we're going to have the Phoenix Suns over there, because they're going to love their neighbor. They're going to love their neighbor, because that team, that organization, they have, no backbone. They've only won 6 games this year, and ironically, you're gonna fall on your laurels as the owner, who's like, "Oh, we spent money because we paid Devin Booker all this cash, and we drafted DeAndre Ayton, and you can't even be competitive in a match." And all you need is just a little. All you gotta do is in that 90, just put a little Phoenix Sun ball, right there, and poof.
Actually, if you notice, the buttons on the jersey are Phoenix Suns logos.
Oh, that's tasty. Then you know what you should do is just put Charles Barkley's face. He's the only guy who's kind of somewhat defending them, somewhat commenting on them. To quote him, they're just terrible, man.
Terrible.
Terrible.
You got to pronounce it right. It's terrible.
Terrible. I'm not as gifted as him in the art of English and articulation, but I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, the design is basically what she wore to that city meeting. Red and black. It works for the Suns. The Suns, red and black, gold. PayPal's logo is on there because they need to feel shame as well for sponsoring the Phoenix Suns. Nike as well for providing equipment to the Phoenix Suns. The NBA for having the Phoenix Suns as a franchise. And then, of course, the Suns themselves with all those logos.
I just realized the irony of having this team be sponsored by PayPal.
And yet they can't pay for their own arena.
That is delicious irony right there.
Yeah.
Let's hear what Mr. Solar has to say.
It's actually funny that you kind of said, Charles said about the sensibilities as a Marlins fans, because this is Doug's review. I wish the Marlins had a Greta when the ballpark deal got approved. She's amazing and perfectly made her point. I could go off on a whole different tangent on subsidies, but I won't. It's a broken system. This jersey is A++. One suggestion. We make the players wear wigs as well. The ultimate shame. Yeah. So that's it.
I really hope that we can bring Doug in live at some point because he's lots of fun to be with.
So those are the tank tops, as I call them. As far as the whole thing with Phoenix, I kind of just want to comment on it. They're grandstanding with like, oh, we're gonna move to Seattle. Honestly, if I was Seattle, because they're renovating the Key Arena to accommodate the new NHL team, and likely the NBA will follow afterwards. If I was Seattle, I would not even offer a lease to the Suns if they're making that threat. Because that's how they lost their team. I would think if they had any sort of like sympathy for Phoenix, they would just say no, you guys, you're not coming to Seattle with your team that you're basically taking away from Phoenix because that's how we lost our team. You can just stay there. We'll wait for the expansion of the NBA. That's it. So. That's what I think Seattle should do if they want to have some sort of like solidarity with Phoenix in some sense. Okay, guys, let's get back to the game here. Andrew's already stretching for this. He's actually pretty excited for it too.
I haven't played this game in probably close to 2 decades.
We're playing NHL Breakaway '99 with good old Lightning GM Steve Yzerman. So let's get this going.
It's been a while since we've actually had a chance to play a game, so
yeah,
I'm happy that I'm excited that we get to do it finally.
Yeah. So speaking of the Lightning, guys, I just want to make there was a topic I wanted to get done for a while. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning are just eons better than every team so far in the regular season. They're already like creating a lot of space between them and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Atlantic Division. So I'm just kind of wondering if this is the year finally for the Lightning. Like, they've been so good for the last 4 seasons, let's say. And yet, somehow, some way, they always find a way to kind of just mess it up. And for me, it's can you? Oh wait, how come we're both controlling the same guy? Okay. And for me, this is probably the best team that they've had so far in this run. And even though they made the Stanley Cup final in 2015, this is the best they've had. They actually have a great young goaltender. They've got Kucherov. They got Stamkos. They've got all these guys. Is it time? Is it really time?
Well, just as a disclosure, I am a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I'm from Orlando, so any kind of, I call it Orlampa, which is any teams in the Orlando, Tampa area. I want to take a page out of your book when you were talking about the Dolphins the other week.
Yeah.
Where you said, I don't want to get my hopes up.
Okay.
I don't want to get my hopes up. Because I've been burned before. And it feels terrible.
Okay.
It feels absolutely terrible. I've been a fan since about 2008. So we were so close to going to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2011. But objectively speaking, an amazing save by the eventual Stanley Cup champion goaltender Tim Thomas stopped that from happening.
Right.
And I'm still salty about it to this day because we were so close. Then 2015, we were close, but not really. We just kind of faded at the end.
Right.
And then these past few years, I thought we had a real shot last season. I really thought we did, and we just folded.
I think every single team that faced the Washington Capitals, except for the Knights, found a way to kind of choke away their series. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they were up 2-0. The Lightning themselves, in that Eastern Conference Final, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So
it hurts because I thought the only solace I have in that is they were the eventual Stanley Cup champion. So the only kind of good thing I can take out of it is, hey, at least we took the eventual Stanley Cup champion to 7 games. But what could have been? We were so close. But I do like our chances this year. I mean, we thought we were screwed when Andrei Vasilevsky, who's our starting goaltender, got injured, had a broken foot, was out for a few weeks. But then the backup came in, and I can't remember his name, unfortunately, and I feel terrible for that. He came in and just did amazing. It was as if Vasilevsky had not left. So the fact that we have a solid 1-2 in terms of goaltending makes me feel a lot better. But I can't get my hopes up. It's just not in my... It's not in my system because we've been so close and yet so far each time.
Okay, I'm already losing. Yeah, I've seen this before. That's the thing. I feel like the Lightning are going to be... The Stanley Cup playoffs are so different than any other
absolutely
playoff that in the NBA, like, if you're the number one team, it's easy. You're most likely going to be there at the end. The Warriors are the Warriors. The Lightning, I could see the Washington Capitals going back to Tampa and taking the series. Especially now that they have the experience of actually winning the whole darn thing. So, I don't know. I don't think it's as surefire as I'm pretty sure a lot of Lightning fans are like you. They're just like, maybe as Charles said, tread lightly.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in on that one real quickly. I mean, I know you said that hockey's hard when it comes to playoffs. You know, you brought up the Warriors, and the Warriors are always there. But sometimes hockey, you know, this is me and my peasant knowledge from what I've seen just getting to the Stanley Cup. You do see the Stanley Cup. You do see a lot of familiar names in there, like the LA Kings and Detroit Red Wings. You don't know if Tampa Bay's built like that. You know, I mean, it's good that you're the best right now. It might help you out come the seeding, but it's still a long season, and the fatigue comes in if you get any injuries or if you just get outmatched against an opponent you never played that often. But, you know, if you think of it in short-sighted, it's basically, hey, at least it's good to be ahead and get, you know, a better benefit to seeding or whatever else benefits come from being the top guy in the playoffs. But tread lightly, but have fun with it.
It's just the NHL is so based on luck because of the fact that just the puck can go any single place from every shot that it's.
There was actually a video done, I forget how long ago, but it talked about how some sports appear more random than others in terms of who would win. And I think hockey was among, if not the most random.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So... that was an own goal. How did that happen? I don't even know. I do not even know how that happened.
Hey, I'll take it.
Okay, so that's NHL talk. All right, guys. College football. Oh, no, actually, no. I want to go to NFL. Actually, so the Dolphins are actually. Let me put this on. All right, guys. The Miami Dolphins are terrible. Okay.
Hold on. Oh, is this whatever?
The Miami Dolphins are terrible. The Minnesota Vikings did all sorts of bad things to them in that first quarter. It was 21-0. They actually got the score to 21-17 at some point. So kudos on the Dolphins for that. But then the Vikings were like, all right, that's enough of that. Dalvin Cook ran for 4 billion yards. Minnesota fired their offensive coordinator the week prior. And they decided to just use Dalvin Cook the entire game. And it worked for them. I don't know why they didn't use him before. Because he's one of their best players. And it worked for them. Minnesota's still got some semblance of a chance. Actually, I think they were eliminated.
No, they have the wild card. They're not getting at the North.
Oh, okay. They're not getting the North. Okay.
They're in charge of the 6th.
The Bears, right now, so the Bears clinched with their win. That's right. Against the Packers. Okay. And what was it? The mood down here after the Dolphins lost was kind of... There were some people who were angry, but I was just more... I wasn't angry this time. I was just more like...
Oh, you forgot to update the graphic. It still says they're not terrible.
Oh, actually, no, I can actually fix that. Give me 1 second. There. Better. That's it. Dolphins are still terrible. It wasn't that of... It was more resignation, like, this is what I get for having some sort of hope after that Patriots game. It was good that they were down 21-0 and just kind of freed up the entire Sunday, really. They lost eventually, giving up 41 points to the Vikings. Charles's team is still alive, though. Titans.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to take over here for a second. You know, the Dolphins to you are terrible. Dolphins to me are amusing. And it's just for two reasons. One, I have a dog in this race with the Titans, so I needed this completely because we won our game. How we win games is beyond me, but at 8-6, I'm feeling very confident. It all comes down to the Colts game. I need Baltimore to kind of know who they are with a rookie quarterback and just lose the remaining games. But it's interesting, and it's interesting to me because even though I'm not a Dolphins fan, I went to school in Miami in 3 years. You know, a lot of my friends are Dolphins fans. So getting to hear that sigh of pain, I knew it and I got duped. It's like an ex who's trying to get back with you because they changed and they don't change. Because in truth, your record sometimes is not a reflection of your team and of your coach. Sometimes you just get lucky. And that's what I feel this season really is about. I mean, the only upside that came out of this is that Kalen Ballage was worth the 4th round pick that you spent on him. I think. I remember watching him a little bit preseason. Then he got buried in a depth chart. This goes back to Adam Gase, and I said it before in a couple episodes ago. He doesn't know how to coach all phases of the game. I feel validated to it. I mean, yes, your defense is bad, but Minka Fitzpatrick is a stud. So I don't believe they played Rashad Jones that often. I don't know if it's a coordinator thing, but what you did is you made a Vikings team feel good about firing their coordinator for a guy whose whole mentality was to follow Mike Zimmer, just run the ball 50 times. To answer your question earlier, Dalvin Cook had been injured prior, so with a couple of knee injuries, so he's out a few games, so they were running a Lat Murray. But right now, the Dolphins is that it's not so much that you're going to be an 8-8 team, it's going to be you're an 8-8 team, and come next season, you're going to be worse than that because you're probably not going to pick up the Devontae Parker option. at $9 million of guaranteed injury for a guy who's always injured. You're probably going to cut Amendola because he really didn't do anything. Albert Wilson is on the cheaper aspect, so you probably keep him. Then what you got going on there with receivers, I don't know. It's not a big free agent market. You can try to entice Golden Tate, but I think a guy who's in this part of career is going to want to play at least with a playoff contender who will pay him. Then you're going to have Frank Gore probably retire. Then you're probably going to trade away Kenyon Drake because that's what Adam Gase does. And then you're going to not properly review for a future franchise quarterback, or at least a backup who's competitive, or not even take a chance on Joe Flacco. You can say, hey, it's Ryan Tannehill. And then you're going to find yourself in a 5-11 situation. It's mismanagement that is amusing to me. So to you, Dolphins are terrible. To me, Dolphins are amusing.
I'm glad you find them amusing. You guys are still in that final wild card race. And the surprising thing is the Cleveland Browns could actually win their division.
I know.
They could.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of good to say that, right? I don't
absolutely.
personally like that management, but you know, it makes you. And this is them winning the division after they fired Hugh Jackson. So if that's a possibility, my God, the simple solution was to never hire Hugh Jackson.
Oh God.
You know, what could you have done with Brock Osweiler and Robert Griffin? You could have been 11-5, winning the Super Bowl. We have the remedy. You guys told Jimmy Haslam, we got the remedy. Hire us.
It's basically the same thing that happened to the Rams when they fired Jeff Fisher.
Well, I could have told you, don't hire Jeff Fisher as the tight end. That comment of your record is a reflection of your team, and sometimes it isn't. It's definitely true. But the guy for the longest time was like a cockroach in football. He could just survive a nuclear explosion. I mean, good coach, not fantastic to get.
I think the game just passed him by.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe he just caught lightning in a bottle with the Titans for that 1 yard short season. So, okay. Actually, this is part of a new segment that I wanted to get to because I want to transition to something here. Actually, before we do that, so let me get this. It's called "Where in the Sports World is Doug?" Since one of our colleagues on this show is Doug, who's always seems to be out somewhere, so I'm creating him as a Carmen Sandiego type of character. Well, we have to guess where the heck he is in the sports world. So I'm doing the first quiz, I guess today because I just thought of it. All right, guys. So I'm gonna give you clues, facts, whatever about a place in the sports world, or a city or whatever, and you guys have to guess where it's at. Okay?
Shoot.
So first clue. If you guys get it fast, whatever, it's actually transitioning to our segments here. This city gets sunshine 302 days per year on average, giving the city 83% of daylight hours.
Somewhere in Arizona, right?
Nope, not Arizona.
New Mexico.
Not New Mexico.
Nevada?
Actually, not in Nevada either.
Are we anywhere close?
Are
we in the right continent?
I'll give you're in the United States of America, so I'll give you that. Okay. All right. So next one.
Is this the same city?
What?
Is this the same place?
No, it's all the same place. It's all the
Okay.
same place. So, okay. All right. So now, this is in 1931. It was the home of the first large hotel built by Hilton, the actual founder of Hilton. So now you guys are thinking Resort City or something like that or whatever, but
El Paso?
Okay.
yes, it's good old El Paso, Texas. It had to be the first one. It had to be the first one in this segment. So Doug Solar, since you got it so quickly, Doug Solar is enjoying a stay in beautiful El Paso, Texas. Okay, it's home of the University of Texas El Paso, home of the Miners. Okay, El Paso is closer to 4 capital cities of other states. It's compared to any other large city in Texas. So they're about 348 miles away from Phoenix, 272 miles away from Santa Fe, New Mexico, 212 miles away from Ciudad Chihuahua in Mexico, and 327 miles away from Hermosillo, Sonora in Mexico. And it's also 526 miles away from the state capital, Austin. Okay? So yeah, it's also one of the in 2010 it received an All-America City Award and has been ranked the safest large city in the United States for 4 consecutive years. Okay, so El Paso, Texas is really safe to be at. Doug is so we all know that Doug is safe and that he's enjoying the good old El Paso. And the Sun Bowl on December 31st. Speaking of the Sun Bowl, because it's one of the topics I want to get to, because we're getting to college football now. Okay, so I'm gonna move this away from our game. Okay, so
I get this feeling that Doug is gonna end up moving to El Paso at some point.
I don't know why, but sure. So the Sun Bowl is December 31st between the Stanford Cardinal and the Pittsburgh Panthers. Running back Bryce Love of Stanford has decided not to play in the Sun Bowl to save himself for the NFL draft. So, guys, I posit this question. How awful of a person is he for not playing in El Paso?
Ooh, let me see if I can bring in my Stanford friend on this one. I'm curious what he'd have to say.
For people who love El Paso, they're very insulted.
Yeah. So the reasoning is, look, he signs with any team in the NFL, he's instantly going to be a millionaire.
I mean, but isn't that just the practices of how they've been doing it for a couple years? You had a lot of big-name football players who didn't want to run the risk of injury, especially in a competitive bowl. I think Leonard Fournette did it. It's usually a lot of running backs, because you got to think, Bryce Love in Stanford was the offense. There's a lot of wear and tear in those mileage that comes there. So they're looking at their future investments, and you see how taking care of their body, preserving their body, not putting them in games that, for lack of a better word, are meaningless to them as an individual. This is them taking the school us mentality away, and they're taking care of themselves. And I get it. I don't like it, but I would probably do the same thing if I knew I was going to be a guaranteed. I think he had a bad year this year, so his draft stock might drop a little bit. It's always kind of difficult saying, hey, let's get a running back in the top 5, 10. You don't get that often. Zeke Elliott and Leonard Fournette were 2 exceptions to that rule. But if he's going to get in the back end of the draft, 15 onward, even the second round, he's going to be making some money. So, awful person to the school. Best in self-interest, I would do it too. So good on him. Plus, it's the norm. It's not like he's the first person to ever do this.
Andrew? It's tough. I see both sides to the argument. On the one hand, a player commits. Oh, let's get BU in here real quick. Considering bowls are basically postseason exhibitions, sitting out a bowl to prep for the NFL draft makes sense to me. I see that point. I agree. At the same time, I'm torn on it because this has been, I don't want to say an epidemic that makes it sound bad, but this has become a trend recently with high-profile players. I see their point of it, which is they're not getting paid right now for all intents and purposes. So they don't want to risk injuring themselves and therefore ending their professional career before it even begins. I totally agree. I know some players, they get their bodies insured right now.
Yeah, that's a trend.
It's a trend as well. I agree. I totally understand. But at the same time, I see what the other side of it is, which is these are your brothers, in essence. And you are just in arguably the most important game of your season, or depending on the bowl, the most important of your career, you're going to sit out. and not join your brothers, your friends helping. So, I mean, I'm inclined to side with the players here because, I mean, I'm sure it's an easy decision for them. They don't want to just walk out on their friends, their guys. But they have to look out for their future as well. So, in that respect, I don't think he's that awful of a person.
I don't think he's awful either. I just put that as a joke because he doesn't want to play in El Paso, and who wouldn't want to go there?
Writers says it's like an optional final in a class. If you take it, it can make you look awesome, and the professor fan base will love you for it, but can also screw you up.
It can do more than just screw you up. It's a lifetime decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To kind of jump in real quick, but sometimes some of these guys should go to the bowl games because it might be the game changer in the draft. I'll give you an example. Andrew Luck, we always knew he was going to be one of the top quarterbacks in there, but I remember the year prior that before he went to enter the draft, he had a Rose Bowl. He was in the Rose Bowl, and the guy threw for 400 yards. Mark Sanchez, it's a very similar thing when he was at USC, threw for over 400 yards. So you had guys, not counting like we'll go with Sanchez more as a focal point, who didn't come out as being a top 5 quarterback to be drafted. His performance in that bowl game allowed the Jets to kind of trade up and take him. For a running back, it might be a different story because I don't think anybody's going to trade up for Bryce Love in the top 10 pick. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens in April. But for the people, it's preserving their bodies, but there's going to be some guys who are coming from lesser-known schools that want to light it up. And they're taking the same risk because you get hurt in that game, your draft stock might drop too. So it's the idea of I'm a running back. There's a lot of mileage on me. Is this really playing this game, getting 30 totes throughout the whole game, going to help improve my stock by not just 1 or 2 draft picks? If we're talking about vaulting to like 5, more picks up, or is it going to cause me to bust my knee, bust my ankle, not get drafted, have to be going through a supplemental draft or whatever?
Well, my opinion is I'm actually on his side for many reasons. One of them is I don't feel that it's just my opinion as far as the fact that college players don't get paid, and I'm of the opinion that they should. I see no reason to be loyal to the school at this point. I mean, you've got your quote-unquote education, but at this point, what's this one last game? I'm sure if this was a more high-profile bowl game, to Charles's point a little bit, that if this, there are more eyeballs on him for that as far as the draft is concerned. So if this was, let's say, the Rose Bowl, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have skipped this game out. But because it's the Sun Bowl, and even though El Paso is beautiful, it's not as high-profile of a game as others, I can see the point of sitting that one out. Also, he is a running back. And running backs, especially in the NFL, they don't last very long.
And I'll add to that, I forgot to mention, he was very dinged up last year in his bowl game.
Yeah.
So he already has a history of injury. So I can absolutely see why he would jump, why he would skip. And
NFL teams some people made the argument, NFL teams will question his commitment, his loyalty. NFL teams don't really care, okay?
Yeah, they like the younger the better.
If the Dolphins ever said that, they would be part of that "the Dolphins are terrible" segment once again. They wouldn't draft the guy just because he didn't play in his bowl game. That'd be another stupid decision by the Dolphins. If this was a running back that they could draft or whatever. It's trying to collect my thoughts again because I'm getting a little angry. I don't see any loyalty to the school. If, let's say, Manny Diaz, the same thing, maybe it's a bit of a tangent, but he's a coach that went off to Temple, and now he's leaving his players that he coached up in to the number one defense in the country. What loyalty he's not showing any loyalty to the school there. So why should a player show loyalty to the school as well? I mean, if he's going to do it for his own, yes, selfish reasons, but very smart reasons, for his future, then why not? Manny Diaz, the same thing. Look, he's going to be a head coach in college football. It's at Temple. It's not as high profile of a school, but it's still Temple. It's still a D1 college football program. And let me go and make better prospects for my future.
Let's see what Mikey has to say here. I don't see it as a loyalty thing. Players can choose to continue college football while they still can. It's something they won't get again in their lives. If they feel that they've had enough fun and work in college, then there's nothing wrong with starting a career. I absolutely agree. And
that's for some players, though. The players that know that they're not gonna make it, I think. I mean, if I was if you guys were sitting at $1 million right now, and all it took was for whatever part of your career was to not have something horribly go wrong, like if Charles, we all got JDs, we're all in the legal field.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say tomorrow we have a volunteer thing, but it required us to do something to our brains that could incapacitate us in some sense. What would you do it if the next day you knew that you were signing a contract for $1 million that required you to use your legal knowledge? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
So I say the same thing for the players. But I can see you guys. I mean, there's all kinds of points, but I know fan bases can either be stupid rabbit and think, oh, well, it's the cardinal, the tree, you're failing the tree. No, well, the tree's had enough. Okay. I don't know if you guys have anything more to add, but
I think now is a good time as any to jump to our next college football segment.
Right. So Andrew brought up this one, early National Signing Day. A lot of highlights today. Go ahead.
Well, as usual, Bama, if I know correctly, let me see what the grades were, but Bama, as usual, absolutely killed it.
Boo.
UCF had arguably their best.
Woo, Rider of the Sun.
Which team are you? UGA, baby, number 2. UGA is University of Georgia. Georgia had a good haul. Bama, pretty much all the usual suspects had good signing class. What's that?
How'd FSU do?
Let's see.
Just even though I don't really follow it that hardcore, but I at least like to be better than some teams.
Oh, you are. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, good. We had the most 5 stars, says Ryder.
So
the U can't get a quarterback.
The U had a lot of decommits.
Yes, please
sure.
tell him. Please tell him.
Should we tell him? Oh no! Should I jump out the window?
I'm looking at it right now, but continue and I'll comment when our time comes.
Okay.
Just kidding. FSU is fine.
Okay.
That's the advantage the Power 5 schools have, is that no matter how terrible you do in any given season, you can always rest on we actually have a chance of making the playoffs. We have all this history. We have all this money. Come to us and you'll have access to all of it. We have these famous alumni.
FSU always just like, hey, we'll try out Deion Sanders and see what happens.
Oh, you definitely had a monster day, Mikey. Absolutely.
Speaking of, when I was getting out of the airport yesterday, there was all kinds of logos on the doors, college football playoff Orange Bowl logos. They're ready. They're getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan had a pretty good day too. Did you see that video of that one guy who committed to Syracuse?
Yes, that was awesome.
Even though he didn't choose your school, but it was still a nice, touching moment.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, if you want to explain to what happened.
So what happened was, there's this player, goodness, I forget his name. Believe he's from South Carolina, and he signed with Syracuse University. And one of his best friends, if not his best friend, is a kid who has some sort of a disability, where he has to use an electric wheelchair, and he has trouble speaking, things like that. And the player brought his friend up with him to make the announcement. What the player did was he whispered. The friend was the first person he told. He whispered in his ear, said where he was going, and had the friend announce where he was going for him. That was a really cool moment. I thought that's a true friend right there that doesn't care what kind of a disability you have, how you look. You just care for them as a person. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of people commenting here. We got Mikey. They stole a 5-star from Bama, Michigan, and then stole him back. He flipped from Michigan to Bama earlier. Okay.
Yeah. I think the rumor with that is that the prospect committed back when they kind of got the feeling that Harbaugh wasn't going to jump ship to the pros, which is, that's a leap of faith, because I think if Adam Gase is fired,
that's the rumor.
Yeah.
That Jim Harbaugh, he's obviously a Michigan dude, playing there, now the head coach. Stephen Ross, owner of the Miami Dolphins, also a Michigan dude who's thrown a stupid amount of money to Michigan and a stupid amount of money at the Dolphins, but never seems to work out. And after that loss, I know we're getting off the more Dolphins are terrible tangent here. Actually, let me go back to it. After that loss, it looked like Stephen Ross was pondering. It seemed like he's a bit peeved and a bit steamed. There might be some big wholesale changes going on for the LOL fans, but all right, so enough of the Dolphins tangent.
And then I think Georgia also took another commitment from Bama. So it's kind of weird how all this can happen, and Bama's still going to be in the perennial hunt. And it goes to show that being some of the best in college football programming is just being a good recruiter, unlike the University of Miami and Mark Richt, who just can't even get a quarterback. But I digress.
Yeah, what the heck happened, dude? Jeez.
From what I'm seeing in the updates, we're losing one 4-star prospect, and then we're going to lose out on our own freshman quarterback. And the problem is Rozier and N'Kosi Perry don't cut it out. So it's kind of just seeing we hit the peak real quickly with the program with Mark Richt, and now the valleys come real fast, and there's no breaks on this disaster course. But we accept it, right?
Yeah. Let me actually. What's going on tonight? Any big games on tonight?
Well, you got the bowl game.
Well, has it started, or is it?
Yeah, it started at 8.
Okay.
Or started at 7.
Okay. Who's winning?
You can check.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to add in anything about National Signing Day? I guess I'll talk from Texas didn't have a good day. He.
I was just in Texas. I was good at good old UTSA.
San Antonio.
What are they? The Jackrabbits or something? I don't know.
Who are they?
University of Texas San Antonio. What team are they?
Roadrunners.
Roadrunners. Oh, okay.
Meet. All right. Here's the rankings. Full rankings. There we go. From 24/7 Sports. Alabama was number 1. Florida State was 14.
Oh, they start at 8. So the game hasn't started yet.
Okay.
So.
I think UCF was 57, which is among the highest for us. That was pretty good.
Pac-12 didn't do so good, according to Ryder.
Outside of Oregon and Washington.
Florida State's basketball's playing. They're playing North Florida, out in Tallahassee. Auburn is...
FIU comes in at 12 of their conference, so not too great.
Oof. Gosh. Not really. I mean, you got Indiana and Toronto. That's a good NBA game if you want to watch that. Gosh.
So, anyway, yeah, this...
Toronto... Oh, sorry. Pittsburgh and Washington tonight for the NHL. That's going to be really good.
Pens and caps.
Okay, go ahead.
So National Signing Day, this is the early National Signing Day. They implemented this last season. It used to be the third Wednesday. It was no. It was, I think, the first Wednesday in February. My bad. Where players signed. A player is not officially a part of a team until he signs. So now they added an early one in the third Wednesday of December, which is today. So it gets a lot of the pressure off kids really quick. From UCF standpoint, we had a really, really good... the numbers may not say it on there, but we had arguably our best draft class ever. We were able to get a lot of guys away from traditional Power 5 schools. Coincidentally, the quarterback that succeeded Mackenzie Milton at Miliani High School in Hawaii is now coming to play for us.
Oh.
So we will have 2 Hawaiian quarterbacks from the same school on our team, which is amazing. So overall, it was a great draft class. I'm happy. Pretty much everybody at UCF is happy about what came down. So I can't wait until February to see if anyone else comes, but if this is it right here, it was an amazing class, and I'm happy.
Okay. So, any more things about National Signing Day? Or at least the early one? No?
Not that on my end.
Yeah, you guys are... People are... sports radio today from Miami wasn't that happy or keen on what had happened to the Hurricanes.
OU might get an all-time receiver class, a wide receiver class if Hasselwood hopped on board.
Okay. All right, so...
Keep discussing, and if we see anything interesting, we'll...
Yeah, we can always go off and discuss, especially because there's a lot of opinions as to a lot of these players coming in and out. Okay, so I just want to transition to one of our more fun segments. Our since we are about halfway through, and as we usually do it at the halfway point, a word from our non-sponsors. So, guys, whoever wants to go first, whoever's been itching to talk about whatever you guys are enjoying, go ahead. Someone's alarm has gone off. Is it mine? Probably isn't. No, it's not.
Okay, I guess I'll start since I've never started before. My non-sponsor of the week is OtterBox.
The phone case people?
The phone case people.
Okay.
I have a Samsung Note 5. I had an OtterBox since I first got it a few years ago, and I wore that thing into the ground. And my phone is quote unquote so old.
What kind of phone do you have?
Note 5. I just said it.
Oh, sorry.
OU jumps to number 6 class in the nation. Sweet.
Mikey is having a really fun year.
Oh, he is. And you'll remember Mikey. Mikey's the one that goes to California, Irvine.
No, you're not late, Shin. You're just in the middle of it. So we talked about
National Signing Day, Bryce Love
from Stanford. The Dolphins are still terrible. NFL playoff races.
Doug is in El Paso.
The Tampa Bay Lightning may or may not get it done this year.
Treading lightly. And we shamed the Sacramento Kings, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Phoenix Suns. So, but we're in the middle of our non-sponsors. Andrew's giving some love to OtterBox. Yes. So I wore that thing into the ground. Who knows? Maybe I'll post pictures of it. So it still protected my phone till the very last. And like I said, my phone is so old that they didn't even sell it anymore at Verizon or wherever. So I had to go on Amazon to get it. I just got it in a couple of days ago, and still fantastic.
Actually, yeah. Let me see. Hold on. Let me hold that. We're gonna actually do. We should have done one of those like unboxing videos. Or something. Okay. All right.
My old one was all black. This one is gray with white. Just a shout out to them because I'm a bit of a klutz at times. So I'll go ahead and drop my phone, sometimes in the worst possible way, which is straight down on the screen. No angle at all.
Just, that heart attack that you have when that happens.
I don't have heart attacks. I really don't, because I mean, of course I check, but I feel confident in knowing that the OtterBox is going to protect my phone from whatever I do to it.
Yeah, I have a Spigen or whatever this company is. I don't know. But...
Is having an OtterBox overkill? Maybe. I don't think it is, though, because who knows what I'd do to it if I didn't have this. So, to OtterBox, I thank you for...
Why
risk it?
If it breaks, you have to pay, I don't know, $80 to replace the screen, and then you could have bought a $20 protect. How much was that?
Well, since it's so old...
Yeah.
I'm using air quotes when I say old. It was like $15.
Okay, $15.
But when I first got it, it was in the 50s.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, all right, but it's still $15.
When I first got the phone, and it was brand new.
Okay, but $15 for the case
Yeah.
now. So rather than paying $80 to fix your screen or buying a whole brand new phone, just buy the frickin' OtterBox. You'll be fine with it. You can throw it. It survives a nuclear attack. Well, maybe not that, but it survives whatever you do to it.
Exactly.
So, and you don't have that sort of heart attack, or as much of a heart attack when it falls down. So.
And
what's the promo code?
Promo code is anti-klutz device.
Cool.
And that's KLUTZ, anti-klutz device.
Good thing that you spelled it so I could put it on the description after this. All right, Charles, what you got going?
Well, my non-sponsor sponsor is probably the best one you can have for this time of the year. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and I always like to make myself a nice little coquito every now and then. So if I have to go see friends or celebrate holiday parties, you're going to want to get a safe ride home. So Uber and maybe Lyft on the side are my non-sponsor sponsors. You know, in today's day and age, we all in the legal field, but in life, you know, you want to get caught behind the wheel. You don't want to do any damage to your career, to your family. You don't want to get pulled over, lose your license. It's not fun relying on the bus. You know, pay your $5-10 it takes the mileage. Go have your fun, have your drinks, drive responsibly. But if you know you're going to drink and drive, don't drink and drive. Just go and get an Uber and have your drinking. My promo code is Coquito. COQUITO.
Coquito.
Gosh. You know what's really fun? Uber Eats. I don't know if you guys have used that service. I have.
I've used Postmates.
Postmates too.
I haven't used Uber Eats itself. I've used similar. I used it quite a bit when I was externing at a law office between my second and third years of law school. It was quite handy. You just sit on your butt and have food delivered to you.
And not just like the traditional foods.
It's anything,
really.
Not
just pizza. It's you can get Denny's, you can get Burger King, you can get all these little restaurants and stuff that.
Riders is watching the Frisco Bowl.
I don't know. Okay, well, DXL is the sponsor of the Frisco Bowl, and we actually talked about them earlier. I didn't know what they were until Andrew pointed it out and researched that they are the big and tall chain, and it actually is perfect as a sponsor because all those football players probably need a big and tall store for what they got, for all the regular clothes that they wear.
So additional shout out to DXL.
Okay, and to Postmates and Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash and all those other food delivery services. So we got Uber. My non-sponsor is San Antonio, Texas now. It's the second city in Texas that I've... Okay, so I went to
Just moved to Texas already.
No, I'm
Jeez.
not moving there, but I'll take a vacation there every once in a while. So I went to San Antonio, Texas for a court hearing. But afterwards, I had the entire day all to myself in the city. Last time I went to San Antonio, I had a miserable experience. I don't know, everything just went wrong. I lost my bags at the airport. The people inside the hotel were rude. To this woman, I hate that she's my anti-non-sponsor. Whoever that woman was that in the elevator. And
you may or may not know who you are.
Yeah, she was very pretty woman, but she was very mean. So I don't like her. She's the anti-non-sponsor, and if she's listening to this, you're a very mean woman. That date, and I forgot what month, but I went to San Antonio a second time. They have a beautiful area called the Riverwalk in downtown. I was staying at the Hotel Contessa. If you're gonna stay at a hotel, you stay at that one. It's right next to the river. It's on the river. The bottom floor of the hotel is a nice, beautiful restaurant. They got a nice giant tree for Christmas. You walk outside. You see the river. It's beautiful. It's quiet. You see all the Christmas lights hanging from the trees. There's ducks. I love ducks. There's ducks. You can look at a duck. If you like ducks, you look at ducks at San Antonio. It's a nice place to take someone out on a date. Go down, walk down the river. They have those little river boats that have the neon lights. It's really beautiful. You keep walking down the river. They got stores, they got restaurants. On the river, I walked up to an area called La Villita de San Antonio. It's a nice little historical village that they restored some of the old buildings there. They have all the plaques and everything, so you can learn about the history of San Antonio. I ate at a Mexican restaurant there. I had a quesadilla. It was really good. Of course, they like their spicy stuff over there. So I had a little bit of salsa there. It was, a Floridian should be able to handle some of that. Keep walking down. I was looking up where the Alamo was. I thought it was like in a place, far out in the city, in the middle of the desert or whatever. No, it's right there, smack dab in downtown. You walk up the river, there's the Alamo. You can see it. You can take pictures with it. It's free to go. They don't charge. You can just look at it. You can go inside. You can pretend you're Davy Crockett and get shot by General Santa Anna if you want. It's all sorts of fun. It's a great Christmas story. I don't even know if it happened during Christmas, but the Korean store up the road. Okay, San Antonio, great. Shin Godzilla just has his non-sponsor. Shin Godzilla has the Korean store up the road is his non-sponsor. I don't know the name, but they have good stuff. So it's a Korean store in nondescript city. You guys got good stuff.
And just kind of as an aside, if anyone wants to know what Francisco was talking about in terms of where he was, watch the movie Miss Congeniality, because a decent portion of the movie takes place in San Antonio, right where he was talking about the Riverwalk, the riverboat, etc.
Yeah.
So
starring Sandra Bullock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the Blind Side fame,
Yep. Mikey, shout out to Taco Bell, the best major fast food chain in the country, to which BU disagrees.
Lies. Actually, I do enjoy me some Taco Bell every once in a while. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, that's for sure.
Taco Bell's very good.
It's the only place you can get Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Which I try not to drink at all, but it's there. It's rare. Gosh, every once in a while when I feel like eating something from Taco Bell, but I don't, they always come out with something new, right? Mm-hmm. Like the nacho fries or whatever. I always try and I always try to make a healthier version of it by replicating it in some sort of way. So I'll try and figure out the ingredients and be like, okay, there's a way to make this with real meat. And I can fold it in a sort of way to make it look the same. But no, I do like Taco Bell. Surprisingly, when I lost my weight the first time, when I lost 60 pounds, I ate Taco Bell almost every day. they're surprisingly one of the healthier fast food establishments. Okay, so shout out to you, Taco Bell. You should have sponsored me like Jared. I wouldn't have turned out as a pervert. I'll tell you that much. That took a turn.
That did take a turn. Mikey, if we ever get like big and mighty and people know us, we'll definitely put in a good word for you.
I've tried everything on the menu. Ask me anything. And ask me anything. We should do that on Reddit.
The chalupa box thing is always overcooked.
Always.
You must have a bad Taco Bell then.
Yeah. There's a Taco Bell behind the hotel here at the office. They're all right. The Taco Bell next to my community college in Lake Worth, that was a good Taco Bell, I'll tell you that much. I like that Taco Bell. Shout out to that Taco Bell in particular.
Okay, enough about food. So just to wrap it up, our non-sponsors of the day are, for me, Otterbox.
Oh, my promo code for San Antonio, because in case you have to pay to go to San Antonio in any sort of way, you use the promo code, you'll get 50% off of your entrance into the city. My promo code is Second Chances. Because it was my second time in San Antonio. I actually had a good time.
So, just condensing. So, Otterbox was mine. Charles had, was it Uber?
Uber.
Francisco has the wonderful city of San Antonio. Mikey is
Taco Bell.
Mikey is Taco Bell. Shin is Checkers / Rallies.
And the Korean store down the street.
Korean store down the road. And DXL by A, being the only bowl game on tonight, and that's the sponsor, and B, because Riders of the Sun is watching the Frisco Bowl.
Speaking of, it is 9:19 in the first so far. Ohio has the ball. Okay.
On to other things.
So we talked about college football. We talked about NFL, NBA, NHL. Don't know if I want to get into the baseball talk, but if we have time later, I will get to it. But other segment that we have, players we remember to forget or players we forgot to remember. What was it? So I don't know if you guys have one, but I do. You guys want to start? I don't know.
We'll just go with yours, I guess.
I think you guys always forget to remember the players that we forgot.
Right.
Mine is, I don't know if you guys will remember him. His name is Tony Banks.
The name sounds familiar. And actually, I did come up with one, so I'll let you do yours first, and then...
Do you remember him, Charles?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you remember who he played for primarily? Or at least where he started out. But...
Google will tell me.
Okay, well, so according to Wikipedia, his full name is Anthony Lamar Banks. He actually did win a Super Bowl ring.
that's not who I thought it was.
Okay. He played at Michigan State, so he is a Spartan. He was born in San Diego, California. He was drafted in 1996 in the second round, pick number 42 of the St. Louis Rams. I think the Rams had just made it to St. Louis after moving from LA the first time. He played from 96 to 98. Then he lost out to... who was the backup of Kurt Warner? Was the backup of someone. Trent... gosh.
Dilfer?
You're thinking Trent Dilfer?
No.
Not Dilfer, Trent Green, who used to be a former Dolphin.
Okay, so then Kurt Warner obviously led the Rams to the Super Bowl victory over Charles's Titans. Was it Tony Banks actually moved on to the Baltimore Ravens, where he actually had a pretty good first season with them, but then he lost his job out to Trent Dilfer of all people, and you've got to be really bad if you're losing your QB job to Trent Dilfer. After that happened, the Ravens went on a run and won the Super Bowl behind an elite defense, obviously, because it's Trent Dilfer behind the helm. But one of the things Tony Banks he's kind of haunted by that year because he felt that he could have won that Super Bowl himself if the Ravens had tailored the offense more to him. His contention was that, he believes that after he was sat for Dilfer, the Ravens and Brian Billick tailored the offense more to Dilfer and ran the ball more than anything, and that's what led to the Ravens having some sort of semblance of an offense and their elite defense with former Hurricane Ray Lewis, former axe murderer. No, he had nothing to do with that. So yeah, and then he moved on to the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. He was picked up by the Washington Redskins in 2001 and ended his career with the Houston Texans. And I think he works for the Big Ten Network because obviously former Spartan.
Right.
And yeah, but he's still haunted by that Super Bowl victory. It took him 5 years to take out the ring from the box that they handed to him.
Why?
He felt that he could have won it, if he was behind the helm. I guess he felt like, he was a backup to a guy who was, pretty mediocre as a quarterback in Dilfer, and it's kind of like, it was kind of shameful to him.
What does that say to you if you lose to that guy? Quality of your play is low. Plus, if I remember that year correctly, that defense was a monster, but you had Jamal Lewis, who was a rookie, just putting down the paint on everybody.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's because we tailored offense because we had a rookie that was coming into his own, and, look, it happens in football. It happens in a lot of sports where you get these changes that come in, and a team gels better with the new guy in play. But what does that say to you? I mean, he had other opportunities to play, mostly as backups. I'm looking at his stuff now. His name sounds familiar, but, with these players that we tend to forget that I get reminded of, it's like that old nostalgia feeling. And I don't get the whole thing. I'm like, be happy you have a Super Bowl. There's some people who don't have that opportunity. And be happy that you were able to come into the league and start, even have a game that comes into it, a couple of games. And if you did bad, you did bad. But, hey, you won a Super Bowl. Congratulations.
Yeah. So, Tony Banks, we remember you, dude. Buck up, dude. You got a Super Bowl ring.
I guess I'll just toss one in there really quick because it just jumped to me really quick. Fernando Tatis.
Yay, I remember him. He was, he hit behind Mark McGuire.
He used to be in the Texas Rangers organization.
We're a lot of love for Texas today. The Frisco Bowl, El Paso, San Antonio.
And the only reason I know that is because I actually got to see him play live when he was in the minors.
Really?
Because back then, the AA affiliate for the Texas Rangers was the Tulsa Drillers. Tulsa is my birthplace and one of my hometowns. I consider Orlando to be my hometown. So I got to see him back when he was in the minors. And I thought he kind of had bear in mind, this was me when I was like less than 8. I can't remember exactly, but I always thought he had a very funny last name, or a very interesting sounding one. Fernando Tatis, without the other guy, the PA announcer would pronounce it. His real claim to fame is that he hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning, which is something that had never been done before, nor has it been done since.
Was it the same pitcher?
Yes.
Channel Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that.
Back in April 23rd, 1999, he hit two grand slams off of Channel Park.
Gosh. And Channel Park was, God, he had a Rookie of the Year season and then was kind of mediocre after that.
Right. And so just to kind of go over where he played for the Rangers for a couple of years, then he went to the Cardinals, then the Expos, then the Orioles, then the Mets, and then he retired. His son is currently in the minors. He suffered an injury this past year, but he is considered to be one of the top prospects.
Gosh, don't you guys feel old when you hear
Mm-hmm.
that guy's son is in the minors or whatever? Vladimir Guerrero's son.
Yeah.
It's like, man, what the heck did I do with my life? Yeah.
Ugh.
Gosh.
Don't remind me.
And Zaire Wade. Yep. All right. So, Charles, do you have one or not?
I have a brief one just because you caught me monologuing about Jamal Lewis earlier. I'm gonna give a shout out to Jamal Lewis as a person who forgot. Look, this guy was a stud for the Ravens back in the day. He was a rookie drafted in their Super Bowl year in 2000. He is one of the few running backs, if memory serves me right, to break 2,000 yards, and he did that in 2003. The guy was a mainstay. His time with Baltimore Ravens was cut short just because of money. I think he was there for 6 years, which is loyalty, but he had a couple highlights in 2003. He had 14 touchdowns, something that was the year he had 2,000 rushing yards. It's very impressive. And after 2006, he went to Cleveland because that's what a lot of divisional rivals do, is they poached the dude who was the best on your team, pay him a little bit more money, and he had some success there. I mean, his final couple of years from 2007, 2009, he had 1,300 yards rushing in that 07 year. 08 was 1,000 yards, and then, of course, for all running backs, because they have a short shelf life, he only had like 500 yards, and that was it. To modern-day stuff, he is talking about suffering post-traumatic effects of concussions from playing football, which is something that you talk about getting old. You're going to see these guys that you saw in your heyday, in their heyday, now becoming a different kind of person because these injuries that they're now finding out. And he is currently the president of Southeast Exhibits and Metro Retail Solutions for Metro Exhibits. Not that I know what that means, but it's going to force me to review it at some point.
Does anyone remember Charles Thompson, the guy who sold cocaine to FBI agents? I can't say that I do.
No, I don't know either.
Care to enlighten us, Mikey?
Yeah, the guy who sold Oklahoma quarterback Charles Thompson. Okay. Oh, I gotta look this up. Give me a second.
Boomer.
Let's see. Charles Thompson. Okay.
I'm just going to keep playing because I'm not going to score anything.
I accidentally got Charles Thompson, an Irish-born patriot leader in Philadelphia during the American Revolution. Let me actually improve that. QB. I'll just put QB.
Barry Switzer's
There
quarterback.
he is. There's that mug. No, that's some other guy. Okay, here it is. Charles Thompson is an American businessman, motivational speaker, and former football player best known for his tenure in spectacular Wow, Wikipedia is not pulling punches. Spectacular downfall as the quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners. That's the word that they use to describe that. He played in the 1989 Florida Citrus Bowl. The downfall. Arrest. On January 26, 1989, FBI videotaped Thompson selling 17 grams of cocaine for $1,400 to an undercover agent.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I think that's exactly the statute that says that. It literally says you can't do that.
The wiki article is hilarious.
Short but informative. On February... Wow, it must have been an OU fan who wrote it then. On February 13th, Thompson was arrested in Norman, Oklahoma, and charged with dealing cocaine. He was released to his mother's custody on February 15th to await trial as Thompson waived his right to a preliminary hearing. In the meantime, the Sooners suspended him from the team. A media frenzy followed the arrest, peaking when a notorious picture of the handcuffed Thompson in a prison jumpsuit appeared on the cover of the February 27, 1989 issue of Sports Illustrated, accompanied by accusations that the Switzer-led Sooners were out of control. Switzer's Sooners had already been under heavy public and media scrutiny before the incidents, as players had been arrested in separate incidents for assault with a deadly weapon and rape. With the national coverage brought by his star quarterback's arrest, Switzer resigned as head coach soon afterwards after leading the team for 16 seasons. Dear Lord, man. This is... We're certainly remembering Charles Thompson right now. A trial in prison. After his trial at federal court, let me just speed this up here. He pleaded guilty, saying he knew what he had done was wrong, took his punishment, plea waived his rights to a jury trial and grand jury consideration for his case. Convicted of one count of conspiracy to distribute cocaine and sentenced to 2 years in prison, and entered a federal prison in Big Spring, Texas. So
again with Texas.
While in prison, he spoke out on the pressure and vices that can befall big-time college football, and blah 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 blah. Let's see. Hold on, Mikey. The worst thing the law did to him was put him in a burnt orange jumpsuit. Oh, that is some OSU poking there.
OU.
Oh,
burnt orange is the University of Texas.
But wasn't Oklahoma State also orange?
Yes.
Okay, but still.
But
burnt orange is the shade that Texas uses. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And
OSU is more of a bright.
With no disrespect to OSU, Texas is definitely the bigger rival.
True. Even though they had a pretty good game this season, right?
Yeah, they did, absolutely.
I remember seeing that game in the pool in Orlando. I was actually cheering for Oklahoma State, so sorry, Mikey. I just wanted to see, the big dog fall. He is currently beginning his wait, what the heck? Oh, his son. I thought he went to school. But his middle son, Casey Thompson, committed to play at the University of Texas on April 13, 2017.
Oh,
dear Lord. He is currently beginning his freshman year as a Longhorn QB. His third son, Cade Thompson, is currently in high school, and Charles currently resides in OKC. Gosh.
Ooh, that's harsh that his son decided to play for Texas.
Oh, gosh. Wow. And his oldest son, Kendall Thompson, also played QB at OU before transferring to Utah.
Okay.
And he was instrumental in Utah's win over number 8 UCLA on October 4th, 2014. Okay. And he signed a 3-year contract as a wide receiver for Washington Redskins. Alrighty. Thompson's appearances on the covers of Sports Illustrated are considered a prime example of the SI cover jinx. Okay. Well then.
I didn't know there was a cover jinx for SI. I knew Madden, but...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's an SI cover jinx.
Huh.
Alright. So, those are our forgotten players. That was very interesting.
That took a turn.
It really did take a turn. A pretty funny turn and sad at the same time, but but I don't know. I'm sure he's fine now. He's got 3 sons and everything. So, all right. So, what are the things that we got to talk about? So we talked about our forgotten players. We talked about where Doug is, our non-sponsors. The NBA from the tank tops. I mean, there was another NBA topic as far as where the heck Anthony Davis is going to go. But at this point, it's all speculation. But Charles, I know Andrew's not that big of an NBA guy, but I'll get Charles's kind of opinion. I mean, do you think it's more beneficial for the Pelicans to trade him rather than just see if they can sign him to an extension or keep him for free agency?
What I like to be, and what I think we do pretty well, is just not be your typical kind of sports media and just speculate and put wood to the fire. I think we're rational people. The solution is simple. The solution is simple. You don't trade Anthony Davis. You fire Alvin Gentry.
Oh.
You have and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and maybe it's because I'm just kind of looking at it objectively. You have the talent there. He can get the max amount of money. They have good players in Drew Holiday and Nikola Mirotic. You have a deepish kind of bench with Elfrid Payton if he comes back. They rely on him a little bit too much for my liking, but that happens. And then they have Julius Randle, who they have a decent contract with. You have a team to be competitive. They were dominating. Yes, Anthony Davis is going to be the lead guy on your team. There might be concern of wear and tear, but let's be real. Whether he's going to the Los Angeles Lakers or if he's traded to the Utah Jazz or the Atlanta Hawks or wherever he goes, he's always going to be the forefront guy. He's been one of the best players in years. He's always kind of in that contention of being an NBA frontrunner for MVP, And if he can't succeed, it's not because of the team that you're not building. Granted, they don't have all the shooters the way other teams in the West do, but I would point to the coach. Right now the record is 15-16. They start off strong, I believe, winning 4 in a row, 5 in a row, and it just went downhill. Alvin Gentry's not having them play hard, play competitively. Yes, they've been kind of killed a little bit with some of the injuries, but next man up, right? Davis isn't injured. That's the whole thing. Yeah. He's the one that's not injured. You can get away with it for so long, but I think that's the common sense solution, because you can trade him to the Lakers, but how does that? What are you getting back? Okay, maybe you want Kyle Kuzma. Okay, you got to get a bit of a shooter. Josh Hart, maybe a shooter. You don't want Lonzo, because Lonzo Ball is Elfrid Payton. Maybe just a new, fresher version of it, but they both can't shoot that well, and they can't deal with that alpha male mentality. And really, aren't you putting yourself in dire straits? Because if you can get these young guys who needed LeBron to elevate their game, and you're going to take that back, who are you going to put in there as a vet? And Davis is still pretty young. I mean, I don't have his age in front of me right now, but I believe he's only 27. So, before I continue that talk, I just want to get his age right. He's 25, guys. I mean...
Yeah.
Who is this, Anthony Davis?
Yeah, Anthony Davis.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
He came in when he was 19 or 20, and he's been a stud since. I think you can convince him. This is a guy who's well-liked. He doesn't really do anything wrong. His game always excels. Fire your coach. There's plenty of opportunity that comes in there. Gentry's had 3 seasons of work with it. They only went to the playoffs last year, if memory serves me right, and they didn't get too far out. They tried the Boogie Cousins experiment. It didn't work, as many people expected not to work. That's why they picked up Mirotic, and they were a well-oiled machine offensively. Why give up on your cornerstone franchise, especially for the Pelicans, who are relatively younger and, air quotes coming in, franchise that's, been in existence in the NBA. It is a lively city. It's in a lot of places that come into it. You can get that following, and people like the guy. It's not as if they're trading away like a Gilbert Arenas, where you're Washington Wizards, and you're like, okay, we don't have a guy, but we have him. Let's bring out guns. He's a headache. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fire your coach.
I don't see the benefit of the Pelicans giving up on this at this point. They got a superstar. They were able to draft one. I mean, it's so like
rare,
especially this one, because he's probably generational. And so the Golden State Warriors, from the rumors, are projected to break up after this season.
Really?
I mean, it's projected. I mean, it seems like there's some sort of strife. It seems like Kevin Durant wants out and, wants to do his own thing, which he has all the opportunity to do. So you might have the opening to something great if the Warriors break up, and why hand that over to the Los Angeles Lakers? Why, when you have a shot at possibly keeping him? So, just show him that you can surround him with a good team, or have a good coach, hire a really good coach, and see if you can entice him to sign an extension or whatever. And he's going to get paid more with the Pelicans because of the way the CBA was created, so that these teams could keep these guys, rather than all of them deciding to go off to LA or to all these super teams or whatever. I think the Pelicans ought to keep it for now, and see what you can do in the off season, or maybe see if you can do this season, and maybe there's some sort of hope. Maybe they might go on some sort of a run if that's the case, and then look at what happens to the Warriors. If the Warriors break up, then it completely frees up the Western Conference.
And he would be in line for the Supermax deal. And there's
Right,
not a lot of
exactly.
players that I would say is worth $200 million. I will say Anthony Davis is worth $200 million because he's always expanded the scope of his game. He's shooting three-pointers now comfortably.
Yeah.
And he's connecting. You don't get that with a lot of big men who are grit and grind. You get some finesse big men, but he is just an all-around package.
Yeah. It's funny. There's down here, obviously, the talk with the Miami Heat is, why don't they trade for Anthony Davis? Why? First off, what are you going to trade? Because it's going to take Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow, Bam Adebayo. That's for sure. all three of those guys are leaving in a package for that, and can you entice Davis to stay after that? That's the other thing. I don't know.
I mean,
they'll have the cap space.
That's just fun thinking.
Yeah.
That's just fun thinking. But right now, if you're the Benson estate, because I think Gail, now that Tom died, she's the one overseeing it along with Mickey Loomis, is just keep him happy. He does it, and here's the thing: you're not hearing, like you mentioned, the Warriors. Clay's unhappy. Well, Clay's not really unhappy, but Draymond's a little bit unhappy. KD's a little bit unhappy. You're not hearing about Davis. This is a guy who's been there for 6-7 years, so that's a good sign for you.
Right.
Build your team, and if you're making a good steak and there's some fat around that meat, you just cut out the fat. You don't throw away the steak.
Yeah, I like that.
Interesting analogy.
Exactly, I actually like that. Shout out to steaks.
Obviously, I'm thinking about food.
Taco Bell, which has steak.
Yeah,
that's what started. That my coquito rant.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So that's the NBA talk. I'm sure Andrew was just trade him to the Magic, so fix the franchise, so that way I can start caring about them again. Maybe that's Andrew's thoughts.
You kind of summed it up right there.
Okay. All right. He hasn't paid attention to them since Dwight Howard left, so.
Well, I pay attention to them enough, but
they got the 8th seed right now. They might actually make it.
I've never been a big NBA fan. I will be the first to admit that, and no regrets. All right.
Yeah, we all got our things, dude. I mean, you know more about college football than I ever will. That's for sure. Especially these guys here, Mikey and Ryder and Shin, and all these people know more about college football than I ever will. That's for sure. All right, so that's our NBA talk. Let's see, how far are we into this thing?
We're about 20 minutes left.
20 minutes left. Okay. I guess we can.
We have a couple more segments to hit on.
We might not get to all of them. That's for sure. Actually, I'll cut out the baseball talk. We can talk about that next week. There's nothing. Oh, come on, Mike Modano, who's a douchebag, by the way. He thinks that the Panthers should be moved to Quebec. Him of all ambassadors of the league type of thing. I mean, why? You should be trying to grow the sport, dude. Seriously. Anti-sponsors to Mike Modano. It's kind of like a badge of shame or a badge of honor that we're gonna give to people. All right, fan opinion segment that I wanted to talk about. It was actually my brother-in-law who thought of this.
You should bring him on the
show. It was the best moment in the playoffs for a team where they lost. I don't know if you guys, for my brother-in-law, just to start it out, his was, because he's a St. Louis Cardinals fan, that Albert Pujols home run against the Houston Astros during the NLCS in 2005.
Ah, gotcha.
That's one of his more favorite moments in the postseason history for the Cardinals, even though they lost that series. Which is nice trolling, by the way. I'll tell you that.
Interesting. I think you can only get those in playoffs that are a series. I don't think you're going to elicit that emotion from the one and done kind of games.
Yeah,
or just
pretty sure the Falcons didn't have a really good moment in that Super Bowl that could warrant that.
I mean,
gosh. I mean, there's in the NHL. I know that in the NHL that they have awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy
to non-winners.
To losers, like in 2003.
J.S. Giguère.
Yeah, John Sebastian Giguère got,
who's the goalie of the then Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
who lost to the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, but he was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy for the best player in the playoffs that season. So,
and there was a lot of speculation that Marc-Andre Fleury might have gotten it this past year because he was en fuego.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of another series moment. I mean,
I guess one of mine.
There's the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
The against the Reds, was it Carlton Fisk?
Yeah.
That home run, they lost the series.
Right.
A lot of people.
That's a real
that was
iconic
Game 6.
moment.
Yeah, that's what kept them alive in that series against the Big Red Machine. But they eventually lost.
Right.
So that's one.
It was going to be tough to beat them anyway, but regardless.
Right.
I guess for me, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's a thinker, right?
I guess to piggyback off what I said last week, I'd say maybe, does it have to be this? No, it doesn't have to be. Tampa Bay winning the ALCS 2008.
Okay. I mean, but I'm talking about when they lost. They actually lost the series.
Right, but we ended up not winning the World Series.
Okay. I mean, but I'm saying like iconic moments, like that home run or that.
Oh, right, because they did end up losing that game, that series, right?
Right.
If either of you have one, go ahead.
I mean, I already talked about the Red Sox one. I think it's one that plays all the time, but they did lose that series. I think baseball has a lot of them in comparison. I mean, gosh. There's a lot of plays that kind of keep series alive. I'm trying to think of, I don't know. I should have thought of. I mean, I really just had that Red Sox one. I thought you guys might have one or two, but if not, we move on to our next segment.
Yeah, I say we move on. We'll revisit this next week.
Yeah, or we'll have a new topic next week. But it's a thinker, right? It's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, actually, let me hand this over to Andrew.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, he's gonna host the other sports trivia section that we have, the fun one. I'm just putting the scores here. Gosh, let me put the overlay on. Guess that college team name. So, as you all know, and Ryder is a big Washington Capitals fan. This Caps game is they're playing the Penguins today. They're perennial rivals.
Yep.
So
I guess anyone watching, feel free to play along. The object of this game is I'll list out a few kind of random teams and probably no one has ever heard of, and you'll just go ahead and try and tell me what their nickname is.
As we struggle, Andrew will start giving out clues, like it might be an animal, it might be a thing, or it might be a place, or whatever. And
I used to play this, and Francisco led it, but I was just too good at it.
yeah,
So now...
because you do lead the RCFB trivia section. So.
Correct. All right, so we'll start... This one is nearing the end. It's Central Michigan.
Central Michigan. We've had these before. As we start playing this more, I start trying to remember them more. It's the college basketball games are the fun ones because eventually you start getting into these like really obscure schools.
Right.
So Central Michigan. Chippewas?
Correct. Very good.
I knew it was a funny name like that, even though it's a native tribe.
Okay, against UMKC, which is University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Shin is like Clemson is the worst orange. Oh yeah, we were talking about the orange shades, burnt orange for Texas and Oklahoma State, and only on non-offensive orange is Syracuse. Mikey.
That is true. Everyone loves the orange, at least in football. So any of you guys want to take a gander or take a guess?
What was the school?
University of Missouri, Kansas City.
We've had this one too before.
I don't think we have.
I think we have.
Or maybe we have.
But I don't remember. Okay, gosh.
University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Borders?
No.
No, that's a friend of ours from
I
school.
wanted to sound cool because it's like you're making a rap nickname. The UMKCs or UMK. I want to say it has like an M or a K.
Do you want... well, actually, yes, it does begin with a K.
Okay, so it's sort of alliteration then.
All right, and to the listeners out there, I am like the worst at this game. It's like asking a blind person to paint the sun. I wouldn't know what it looks like. So we're gonna have real fun with it. All right, it said K.
Okay.
All right, BU, Mikey, Shin, Riders.
K. Gosh, There's not many K things out there. Knights?
Nope.
Okay, not knights.
Kings?
Nope.
Kings, knights,
I'll give you a hint.
Kiwis.
No. BU, correct. It is the Kangaroos.
Okay, I was close with the region with the Kiwis.
Well, okay, so where are you going to get a kangaroo in Missouri, Kansas?
Well, the Akron Zips, their mascot is a kangaroo.
Okay.
Okay.
So if
Learn
you
something new every day.
The Crips.
the Crips,
All right.
the Crepes,
Mikey, this is a shout out for you. Eastern Michigan.
Oh gosh, Eastern Michigan. We've had these Michigan schools before. Eastern, Central, North, whatever.
Is it the Broncos, or am I thinking like Western Michigan?
That's Western.
Okay, so that's
okay.
Western.
We
Okay,
get a lot of
Shin
Michigan.
says Eagles.
Correct.
Okay, that's
It is the Eagles.
all right.
Although we have a running gag in our CFB that they should be the Emus
Yeah,
because it's EMU, Eastern Michigan University.
that's what Canada, BU Canada says.
Yep. And they are taking on UC Irvine.
Oh, that's right. That's Mikey's school.
Mikey, you want to answer this one?
No, he knows it already.
All right, Mikey, don't answer this one.
UCI.
They should be the Emus.
We've
Yes.
had this before too. We've had this before. Gosh, is it okay? A clue.
It is indeed an animal.
Okay.
I believe they're indigenous to this continent. Yay, Mikey!
Okay, they're indigenous to this continent. Okay. Okay, California. It's condors. No. That's Bakersfield condors, but no. Oh, you're looking it up too because you don't know.
No. I'm trying to figure out if they are actually indigenous to this continent.
Oh, okay. Okay. The mascot's name is Peter. Pete the Dragon?
No, that would be great though.
That would be funny if
They
were
are
indigenous.
they are indigenous to South America, Mexico, all the way down to South America. I will say this.
Armadillos?
Kinda.
Okay.
I will say this. Peter is a very big clue because Peter rhymes with the nickname.
Peter.
Anteater?
Yes.
What?
The UCI Anteaters.
Oh, that's right.
Peter, Anteater. Okay.
Okay.
So that one was for you, Mikey.
Okay.
Since BU is here, they're not playing right now.
And we have hockey on.
But we do have hockey on. So what is BU's mascot?
They're a dog.
That is right.
They're a terrier.
That is correct.
That's right, because I remember they play for that the bean pot, whatever, between them, Boston College, and UMass, right? Or no, or Northeastern.
It's Northeastern.
There we go.
And the play on that is because there is a breed called the Boston Terrier.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, in-state game. North Florida, or they're playing Florida State, the Seminoles.
I know North Florida, that's for sure.
You want to take a guess at that one, Charles? Also indigenous to the continent.
The Ospreys, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the Ospreys.
Ospreys.
Okay, what's Florida State?
Yes,
right?
BU. Boston Terriers are indigenous to this continent.
Well, which is technically a bulldog and not a terrier. Okay.
I'll do this one for a friend of mine. She went here. The school she went to is Niagara University.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Niagara University. Does it have something to do with water?
They drink it. I presume.
Okay.
Yukon. Oxen.
No,
Is it an animal?
it is an animal.
Is it an exotic animal? Or
Could be. I mean,
okay.
there are a lot of them, and a lot of them are in the United States.
Okay.
Is it a barrel? No. BU, do you know the answer to this?
Anyone know why UCI people go zot zot zot?
No clue.
No clue. BU saying another animal indigenous to this country.
I will add that it is colored. It is a colored animal, so it's not like Tulsa is the Golden Hurricane.
Peacock?
No.
Okay.
There is a peacock school. I'll get to them later. But kind of like how it's the Golden Gophers.
Okay, BU got it. Niagara Purple Eagles.
Thank you. I
Oh,
was going to
okay.
torture them. All right, and they're playing Cleveland State.
They're a D1 hockey school. Oh, I did not know that.
I did not know that either. My friend went there, so shout out to Niagara. So they're playing Cleveland State. I'll do one more after this.
Cleveland State. Oh, gosh. Frickin' Norris Cole went there.
I blame the delay.
Gosh. Okay.
Who went there?
Norris Cole. The backup to the backup to the GOAT, Mario Chalmers.
Okay. Oh, and to your point, there is a school called St. Peter's. Their mascot is the Peacocks, and they're playing the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights.
Okay, so Mikey's saying that there's a comic strip by Johnny Hart called BC where the anteater character goes Zot.
Are they the Bakers?
The Bakers.
The Cleveland State Bakers? No.
No, oh, gosh.
That's really cool, Mikey. I didn't know
Cleveland
that.
State. They wear green.
Yes.
Okay, they wear green.
They are not an animal, although,
They're not an animal.
I mean, technically humans are animals.
Okay, so it's a human being character of some sort.
It is not. They are not indigenous to this continent.
Are they
initially.
indigenous to Cleveland?
No.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
They're indigenous to Europe.
Knight?
Nope.
Crusaders?
Nah. Kinda, sorta, not really.
Cleveland State Viking?
Correct.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, so I'll end this one quick because I want to get to that new one
Okay.
that you're doing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it for tonight for that one. Okay, so we'll because we've got what? How far are we into this? We got 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll probably just do a couple, just to, I probably just to, I guess off the top of my head.
Oh well, tell them what the segment is.
Okay, so the segment is, and I guess we'll just put this back in the regular overlay here because I didn't make it just yet. So the premise of this game is because I am Hispanic, my Spanish isn't the best, but I thought it would be fun to translate some team names into Spanish and see if you guys or Charles or Andrew can guess who it is in English. Okay?
Am I the only person here who can only speak English?
Yeah, like I'm like semi-bilingual.
Yeah, per your job. Okay.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you don't tell people ¿Viste el juego de los Marlins de Miami?
I do not say that.
Okay, you do not say that. Okay. All right, so first one off the top of my head. An easy one. I'll give you guys an easy one. I'll have to say the sport, too, just to kind of narrow it down, because I could say night, and it could be a million different nights from whatever city or whatever school.
Right.
Okay, so I'll keep it to baseball for now, since we didn't talk about baseball today. Los Rojos.
You want to take that one, Charles?
Well, okay, the Reds.
Okay.
I'll take the next one. We should. That's a good idea. Is just to alternate one
Okay.
after the other.
All right, so next, this one's...
It doesn't have to be baseball. It can be...
I know, but I want to stick to baseball just to kind of get the premise going.
All right.
Los Bravos.
Braves.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Baseball is pretty easy when you get to it at some point. Okay, Los Gigantes.
Charles?
The Giants.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you guys are good. Look at that. You guys are watching Sábado Gigante and everything. Okay. Alrighty.
I actually understood that reference.
Yeah, Sábado Gigantes was on for like 4 billion years. A Saturday night show on Univision and whatever, and it was like a variety program, if you will. Okay.
The difficulty level is rather weak.
Okay. Las Medias Blancas.
It would be White Sox.
Yeah, man. There you go.
Even my non-Spanish speaking ass understood that.
Okay. All right. So
Come on, step it up a little bit.
Oh, step it up. Okay. All right. We're gonna go to football then. Okay. NFL. Los Choros.
Choros?
Yeah, Choros.
Not
The
to be
Chargers?
He said Chargers.
Nope, not Chargers.
Oh, wow.
Broncos?
No, Broncos is Broncos.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Choros.
Choros.
Rams? No, that's not right.
No.
Chivas, man.
I'm gonna have to give you guys clues at some point. So
All
tell
right,
me
give
when.
us
Yeah.
give us some clue.
Oh,
Give
gosh.
us the conference or the division.
Okay, I'll give you the conference for now. AFC.
Choros.
Not the Colts.
Nope, not the Colts.
Yeah, that's not the Colts. It's like my brain's going through emotion here. All right.
Browns?
No.
Nah, that won't be a dead giveaway if.
I don't know what brown
Fantasy
is in
had
Spanish.
Bengals?
Chiefs?
No.
Shin says Chiefs.
Nope.
It's not the Chiefs.
Nope.
Choros.
Okay, I'll give you the division. East. AFC East.
Which
The
team?
Bills?
No.
Or the Jets?
There you go.
There you go. Wow.
Good
That
old-
I never knew.
The good old butt fumbles. Actually, I want to see what butt fumble translates to.
Well, let's do it later. We're running out of time. I want to get a few
Okay,
more in.
actually, no. Actually, we should just end it here.
Aw.
We're at the 2-hour mark, and I'll plan it a lot better next time. We got a few of them in, and when we get to the college teams, that's when we're gonna have a lot of fun. So let me get my thanks going there. Okay, guys. So thank you to all the people who participated today. Thank you to Charles for joining us on the via telephone.
Thank you.
Thanks to Andrew for being here in person.
Of course, I enjoy doing this.
You guys have any parting words for our audience?
Dear audience, have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy.
Yeah, that's true. We won't do it. Next Tuesday is Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll probably have to do this, and I'll be pretty busy. I don't know when we'll do this. Maybe that Monday. Because it's the day before. We'll all probably have time off. Maybe.
Yeah,
Unless we're with
maybe.
family and stuff, but we'll see. Maybe we could do it earlier in the day.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I have off Monday and Tuesday. Disclaimer.
All right.
Guess my parting words are ciao.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Good night.